La visión del senador J. William Fulbright en 1945 era crear un programa de intercambio que incorporase un poco más de conocimiento, un poco más de reflexión y un poco más de compasión en las relaciones internacionales, aumentando así la posibilidad de que las naciones aprendan por fin a vivir en paz y en amistad.
I'm a Fulbrighter myself. I was in Boston in '95, and I know what's been outside, and I know what's been in another country. Aprovechar vuestra estancia en España, conocer a los españoles, conocer sus ciudades, conocer Valladolid, y cuando volvéis a Estados Unidos, ser los embajadores de España. Decir lo que habéis visto, because in the United States they don't know Spain.
You have been the face of America for many people who have no other familiarity with the United States other than the media or popular culture. So thank you again and enjoy the next couple of days.
An style which is really characteristic of our Castilla. The style is Isabelino. Do you know Elizabeth the Catholic? Do you know the Catholic monarchs? They paid Christopher Columbus to go to America, and they, for example, they put all together, all the kingdoms in Spain together, and to become the Spain you know. Okay, let's go.
A lot of times students have a preconceived notion of what they think the American is typically like, and then when we come into the classroom they ask us these questions like, do you guys have a Big Mac every day and everybody's kind of fat, and you know, they see things on reality television and they assume that that's real a lot of the time, and they come in and well, you're kind of like we are, and they ask me questions and they kind of figure out a lot of the stereotypes that they've formed are not exactly the truth, and they realize there is no typical one.
We all have a lot of power that we don't notice every day. For every time, I think, when I've had to really consider my own culture and my own place away from it, I always think that every person I interacted with that day may also, with my presence, have also thought deeply about their own experiences and their own culture. We talk a lot about, you know, we got to spend our government money on jobs and the economy and this and that and trying to figure things out. But one of the things we got to remember is that as we're eventually going to come out of this crisis, international experience, competence in a language, that's what's going to be important. That's what's going to set us apart. Our university degrees are not really enough anymore. We know what it's like to function in a global world and not in a world that's just our city.
Whenever you go abroad, you learn almost just as much, if not more, about your own country and where you come from as you do about the country that you're living in.
Law, you would think about, oh, you know, you can read about law from another country and get a sense, but you really can't. Law is so socially embedded, so culturally embedded. To understand what any law really means, you know, on the ground, you have to be there to understand how people deal with it and think about it and respond to it. So I find, you know, even in a field that is so based on writing, the personal contact is essential.
The Fulbright program forces you to abandon that electronic communication, which is so impersonal.
Real trust doesn't occur until I meet my colleagues in Singapore, in Hong Kong, or in London. That's when, from that point on, we start emailing. From that point on, we start inviting each other. It isn't until you sit down face to face that you could actually feel that closeness or that trust.
Yeah. think Fulbright also gives you sort of a stamp of credibility. Like I can go back to New York now and I can teach flamenco as an artist, saying I studied in the home of flamenco, where flamenco was born, where flamenco is thriving, and where flamenco lives.
The experts are living here. They're Spanish. They have been exposed to the culture. They understand what is behind everything. And especially in my field of the Spanish art song, is very related with the culture, with the folk music, and with all these traditions that are very, very, very much into the Spanish society.
Are here from the humanities and we're academics, but our future students are not only going to be like us, but they'll be businessmen and engineers who are going to have to take their business out into the world, and we are the cultural intermediaries that will teach them just that little bit, enough to know to start in another country.
I've come to learn and to really listen to what Spanish scholars and Spanish people have to teach us.
Yesterday I was talking with some Spanish Fulbrighters that were in the cocktail. Some of them went to the States 30 years ago, and they were still talking of their experience in the States as if it was yesterday. And I hope, and I'm convinced, I'm sure, because it's my experience, that you will remember it in the same way in the long term.
There is so much vitality and creativity and energy and enthusiasm and love of life that you have and that you're willing to share, that it makes me very hopeful for the future of our country and the world. And just remember when you go back that you will always be Fulbrighters.
How's life living on?